Hello, parents. It's Jason Enneking here. I'll be your child's 8th grade American history teacher this year. I wanted to thank you for taking the time to watch this video in lieu of having an actual open house. A little bit about me. I grew up in Beaver Creek. I attended Fairbrook Elementary School and was a middle school student right here, actually when it was a junior high at Enneking. Went on to BHS, and then in college I majored in middle childhood education with a concentration in social studies and language arts. And it's rather hard to believe, but I've been teaching for 17 years. It's flown by, and I'm really happy to be teaching in the building where I was once a student. A little bit about the course. This, as I said, is American history, and this course is designed to meet the Ohio Department of Education content standards for social studies, and we cover a period of roughly from 1492 to 1877, so that's the age of exploration through Reconstruction, rebuilding the nation after the Civil War. When we look at a historic event, we're going to look at the geographic, cultural, and economic impacts made on society. And then we're also, of course, going to take an in-depth look at our nation's Constitution, the formation of it and the Constitutional Convention, and the struggles that were there and the compromises that were made, and the challenges of the Constitution in its first years of its life. But also, we'll be taking an in-depth look in the actual Constitution. Students will become what I like to call constitutional experts. So they'll be answering a series of questions that will involve the different articles within the Constitution, and then they're going to need to back up where in the Constitution it came from, article and section number. And when they finish with that, they have to pass what I like to call the bar exam. And then they have to score 100% on that bar exam. So they keep taking it until they get 100%. And then after that, we form up into groups and we have our constitutional law showdown. So what will happen is I will present them with constitutional quandaries, and they have to buzz in and tell me, can you or can't you do this? Is it constitutional? Is it unconstitutional? And where in the Constitution, again, article and section number, does it say that you can or cannot do that? I'm always really impressed that after about a few weeks study of the Constitution, they're pretty fast on the draw. So one of my favorite things to see. So in short, American history is my favorite subject to teach, and I really enjoy teaching it. It's so much more than just dry, boring facts and dates. It's the story of people and the decisions that those people made that really shape the world that we live in today, for certain. And then we ask the why of history. Well, why did this happen? What decisions impacted this? And then we can say, was this a good decision? Was this a poor decision? Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not so clear, and determine what that means for our future. So policies for our class. Grading is based on a point system. So larger assignments, you can expect to carry more points. Smaller assignments carry fewer points. You can expect it to be graded on homework, classwork, projects, quizzes, and tests. And I will say, not every test, but many of my tests do have an essay component to them. I really think it's important for students to learn how to write a historically based essay, as they will have to do that in high school. And if they choose to go to college, they will have to do that there as well. So we don't fear. I give them the first essay so they know what question they're looking at, and we actually take time to do an essay planning guide. So we learn how to form a thesis and then how to back that thesis up with historically based facts. And then it's really based on the amount of work that they're going to be willing to put into it, what they get out of it. So they are going to have to practice it, and they are going to have to prepare and be ready for it. Because essays really provide a big picture view of what you understand. Can you take the pieces that I've given you and put them together into creating a whole? Homework, as I said, will have a due date, and they need to make sure that they understand that if it's turned in on time, they'll get full credit, a day late, half credit, and then anytime after that, no credit, unless there's special circumstances. And what I tell kids is you just need to be willing to communicate. If something has come up, you just need to communicate. I'm pretty flexible as long as you choose to do that. Okay, homework is going to be posted on my assignment board in the classroom every Monday. We will write down our homework, and you should be able to check your child's agenda. And if they have nothing written down, you should be able to ask them why, because we will take time out of every Monday to do that. It also will be posted on my progress book, so they can check there as well. That's going to be a very useful tool for you parents as well, so you can check and see what their homework actually is. Again, absent work is pretty standard. You get as many days as you are out to make up your work. It's just really important that it's going to be your child's responsibility to come to me. I have hundreds of students, so I cannot always remember if a student is absent. So as soon as they get back, they need to come to me and say, Mr. Enneking, I was absent these days. May I please have my work? And I'll be more than happy to give it to them to do that. I always tell them, please do not wait to the end of the quarter and you're looking at zeros in the grade book and go, Mr. Enneking, but I was absent. I'm going to say it's too late. So you need to make sure as soon as you get back to make sure to get your absent work. My expectations are pretty clear. Be on time with all of your materials ready to go and be respectful to everyone in the class. And there's a quote here from Whitney Young that I believe is so true. The truth is that there is nothing in being superior to somebody else. The only real nobility is being superior to your former self. It's about that growth mindset, being willing to reflect and to make change and growth, and not to judge people. It's not our job. Do not disrupt the learning environment of any other student. Raise your hand to speak, wait to be called upon, be on topic, and useful to the discussion. I say, unless you have amazing comedic timing and you're funny. Okay. And of course, you are responsible for your own actions. Consequences, I'll be honest. Usually the first two are all that we need to do. So if a student is doing something that's being disruptive or whatever, I usually will either nicely ask them to stop, or I might write them a little note and stick it on their desk. Usually that's enough. If need be, I'll call them out into the hallway and say, hey, didn't you hear me? I said that this is disrupting class. Is there a reason why it's continuing? Usually a conference is enough to get it taken care of. If need be, I'll be willing to issue detention or make contact with you, and if need be, an office referral. But I'll be honest, in the 17 years here I've been at Enneking, I don't think I've sent a student to the office once. Most of our students are pretty receptive and pretty willing to make changes if need be. So again, I'm thrilled to be teaching American history. It's my favorite subject. If you need anything, please feel free to contact me. Reach out. I'll scroll back up so you can see my contact points. So if you need to give me a phone call, it's 429-7567, extension 2601. And then if you need to shoot me an email, that's at jason.enneking@gocreek.org. So thank you again for taking time to watch this video. And if you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out. Thank you again. Bye-bye.